So, just want to welcome you. This is the first installment of what I hope to be many. Um, my Twitter handle is Beantown Homer, or at Beantown Homer, for those of you who are interested in following me and maybe new to Twitter. Um, Basically, I give my point of view on a lot of things that happen with Boston sports. That includes the New England Patriots. Some people like to be sticklers and say they're not a Boston sport, they're a New England sport because they play in Foxborough. Really, I just lump them all together. They're Boston to me. And so I'm a huge, huge Boston fan. I'll throw out a lot of things. I'll throw out some controversy because I try to be realistic with our teams. I know some of our fellow Bostonians. They think that the Red Sox are either going to be horrible or they're going to be great. There's a lot of extremes, and so this is me adding into that. And so from now on, I'm going to try to review big news, um, and throw my 2 cents in there, and hopefully really get the opinion of people who are and are not Boston fans. Currently, I'm stationed in Orlando, Florida, and have met many people who do not like Boston teams. Especially when you've got Tampa Bay nearby, you have Miami nearby, so you've got Dolphins, Heat, uh, Devil Rays, or the Rays now as they're called, Lightning. So there's quite a bit of dissent. And before that, I lived in Denver, where people are still a little bit bitter about 2007, which was nice because I worked there, and I had a nice plaque that talks about parking for 2007 World Series champs only. Did not go over well, but that's all right. And of course, we have the victories in the playoffs with the Patriots over the Broncos, and that's fantastic. And of course, there's a new layer now with Wes Welker moving on over to Denver. So a couple of topics to talk about. Probably gonna only work around for about 10 minutes, maybe less. I don't really want to sit here and talk too much, but I want to throw some things out there, throw some opinions and some ideas out there, and hopefully, let's see if we can catch some wildfire. All right. So the first one, I've already touched upon it. Wes Welker. It's a little bit of old news at this point, but Wes Welker going over to Denver, and Amendola coming on over to the boys in Foxborough. And I got to be honest, I like this move. I was talking to a friend of mine who is a Rams fan, and I said, if I had to replace Wes Welker, I would have done it with Danny Amendola. He is a fantastic guy. The only problem is he's injured a lot. And, in that instance, he's definitely not like Wes Welker. That man could take a hit and keep on going. I'm worried about Amendola, especially since injury bugs have hit us multiple times, especially looking at Gronkowski. But I think he's a great pickup for us, and I'm sure that's not really necessarily a point that a lot of people argue. I think a lot of Wes Welker to be pretty crappy to see Peyton Manning throwing passes to him this time around, but we gotta be honest with ourselves and realize that he wasn't coming back. The signs were all on the wall. So hopefully Amendola will fill that void for us. He'll fill the slot. Um, you can call that a pun if you want to. But yeah, I mean, they were seen today, Brady and Amendola throwing passes over at USC. So hopefully they get on the same page. Our tight end situation looks fantastic as always. Hernandez, Gronkowski. We've Jake Ballard in the fold. A lot of people seem to forget about him. He was one of the tight ends that played with the Giants, and yet another crushing loss in the Super Bowl. So it was kind of nice to stick it to them and swipe him up in waivers last year. And so now that he's healthy, could be good. We've got the Huma, as some people call him. I can never remember his name, so I always just go with that kind of cheesy nickname. But he showed a lot with Gronkowski out. We've got Fells still. Tight end has never been a problem for us as long as Hernandez and Gronkowski were in the fold. So I would like to see another wide receiver. Uh, Emmanuel Sanders is somebody that they keep throwing around. I'd like to see him. I don't know if he'd be able to handle our route running and so on that New England seems to be so famous for being difficult for. But we need somebody who can stretch the field a little bit. I do miss Brandon Lloyd. I think that he was somebody that was underrated. He didn't necessarily perform fantastic, but if you look at some of our other projects like Chad Ochocinco, you can't really be mad at him. So, and not to mention that catch that he had at the beginning of the season where he was photographed diving for it with a giant smile. I don't know many people who could have hated that. I know people who were Jets fans and Raiders and Giants and teams that hate the Patriots, and I thought it was hilarious. So that's my 2 cents on that one. But yeah, looking forward to preseason getting ready to start up. It's hard to believe that it's only a little ways away. Moving on to a season where preseason has already just ended, and we just had the home opener for the Yankees, where the Red Sox were the visitors. Fantastic game. We won it 8-2. Hopefully, you know that. If you're watching this, you probably do know that because you're probably looking for just about anything. Like myself, I like to go around and see what other people say. Right now, everybody's blowing up Jackie Bradley Jr. And why not? The man, even though he didn't get a hit, he went 0 for 2 and 5 at bats, 3 walks. I mean, you really can't be mad at it. He did draw walks from somebody of the likes of CC Sabathia. Honestly, that first at bat, going down 0-2, working it to a full count, and then working the walk, that's impressive. That's something you would expect from somebody like Petey or Uke back in his day. So it's nice to see somebody who's coming back to the way that we used to play ball. And then Gomes, that man is just raw energy. Victorino, he flies all over the place. We heard all this stuff, but it's nice to see. It's nice to see some of that in action. So I would like to say that even though we're 1-0, expectations should be tempered. Jackie Bradley Jr. is going to hit a wall. Hopefully not an actual wall because that would be horrible. But that kind of attention at the plate and that kind of discipline, I think, is fantastic, and it will get him a lot of attention, and it'll help him in the majors, and I think we all know that. So looking forward to that. Not sure what's going to happen when Ortiz comes back. Rumor has it he'll be starting the minor leagues on Friday or Saturday, which means he could be back in the next couple weeks. So it'll be interesting to see how JBJ works tomorrow. Can't wait. Really looking forward to seeing the boys back on the field. It's been too long. It feels like since September of 2011. It's just been a pit in my stomach watching my boys play. So I think the energy was just fantastic. They were high fiving in the dugout. They actually seemed to care about one another, and a lot of people have questioned whether or not we made the right moves with Victorino, Gomes. I mean, we definitely paid way too much for Gomes, but if it changes the clubhouse culture, and they've got a ton of money to spend. I just recently read that they're about 20 million under the luxury tax threshold right now, so they could add stuff. I think Ben did a good job. Charrington, I think he did what we really needed, which was to change the outlook of the team. Will they win? It's hard to say. It's one game in. If they play with the same kind of hustle and attitude that they played with yesterday, I see good things. I don't necessarily see a division win, but we might sneak in as a second wild card. So just something to think about, and I'd like to hear other people's opinions on that. Now, granted, it's really early, so we could definitely differ on opinions. I think they'll finish second or third in the division, with the Yankees finishing last, and to be honest, that's a win as well. So then the last thing I want to talk about real quick, because I see I'm coming up to about 10 minutes, is Jaromir Jagr, recently traded today to the Boston Bruins, and he's going to play right wing. We don't know what line yet because obviously he hasn't gotten there yet, but it's hard to think that he's going to be in the top two lines. I don't know if you're going to be willing to move Horton down. You don't move Sagan. Sagan's fantastic right now. So I would say put him on that third line. Let him play in the third line. Definitely put him on that power play rotation as in the first line because the man is a great power play player right now, and we definitely need that. We're something along the lines of 26th in the league right now in power play. He's not going to put us up to first or second, but it'd be nice to get in the 15, 16 area. Because that's what hurt us in the playoffs last year. It's what's hurt us all last season. It's what hurts us right now this season. It'd be fantastic to have a great penalty kill like we do and a good power play. So if he even helps with that, it's a pretty good move. We didn't give up a ton for him. I'm a little upset about the draft pick. It's the second round, which is okay, but if we make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, then it becomes a first-round pick. So it's kind of tit for tat. If we win the Stanley Cup, I don't care what kind of pick we gave up. If we don't, and we do make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, um, I'm not sure that it was entirely worth it, but you take every shot you can, and it's nice to see Chiarelli trying to put this team ahead and trying to get them to compete with Pittsburgh, who just added two other teams' captains. So, um, does it have my stamp of approval? I'm a little cautious to say yes, but I would say that we are probably better. We gave up nothing really as far as what's on the team now, and so it can't hurt. And so I would say tentatively, I think this is a good move, and I'd love to see what other people have to say. And yes, I do realize that he's been in the league for 18 years. He was playing when I was just a kid in middle school, so um, yeah, I definitely am aware of that. So here's hoping that he does do something well. And that's really those are the three topics that I'll touch on today. I appreciate you watching, and feel free to subscribe. I don't plan to do this every day. Um, I'd say maybe 2-3 times a week at most, probably once a week at best. So yeah, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at Beantown Homer, and um, go Sox, go Bruins, go Celtics. Even though they kind of, you notice I didn't touch upon them right now, and go Patriots.